Look, we got a couple of cars coming over.
I swear I heard them right behind the van.
I heard something cracking in the woods.
There's no way I'm staying here tonight.
Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is...
The man behind the wheel of this trusty metal steed is Adam, the host of Ad's Ventures. His is a life forged on the open road, chronicling the highs and lows of European van life. This isn't just travel, it's a commitment to the nomadic lifestyle, taking his loyal audience and his home. On this particular night, the tranquility of a quiet motorway service would be brutally shattered, proving that sometimes home is the last place you should be. It was the dead of night. Az, tucked into his mobile sanctuary, was deep in the restorative slumber of a weary traveler. His plan was simple: park up, rest, and resume his journey. But the road rarely follows a script. Around 2 or 3 a.m., a disturbance began. Az was jerked into a confusing, half-asleep state, a twilight consciousness by the sound of voices. These weren't distant echoes. These were whispers pressed right up against the steel of his home, literally about 2 centimeters away from my back door.
So I originally rocked up to the previous services down the motorway, and I started to go to bed as usual. In fact, it was a very nice, calm, relaxing evening until around about 3 a.m, maybe half 2, something like that. There I was dreaming the most beautiful dream, probably about pittobreds and dolphins and all that. And I was awoken, half awoken, I was in a bit of a daze, by some voices that were literally about 2 centimetres away from my back door. Just to clarify, I mean the rear doors on the van. So I hit the button to turn my CCTV on, and what did I see? 2 hooded, semi-balaclavaed youths right next to the van, and they walked around to the side here. Now in my head, I'm thinking, are they going to break into the Pigeon? Are they going to break into the Pigeon? By the way, for those who don't know, my van is called the Pigeon. And I got in my head to the part where I said, are they going to break into? And then I heard them try the door. So in my confused, half asleep state, I just shouted, "Pigeon!" At the same time, I jumped out of bed. I pulled back this curtain which separates off the cab so I could see out the windows, and sure enough, right by this door there were 2 guys trying to break into my van.
The moment of shock galvanized him. He let out a primal yell, a mix of alarm and raw instinct, shouting his van's name, "Pigeon." In the same instant, he ripped open the curtain separating the cab. The sudden movement caught the thieves entirely off guard. There they were, illuminated by the scant light. 2 guys trying to break into my van, right next to his head. Seeing the shadow of a man suddenly appear inside, the criminals aborted their mission immediately and scarped off into the night.
And at this point, they obviously saw me open up the curtain and they scarpered off into the night. I do have the entire thing caught on camera, by the way, so I'll show you that shortly as well. But then after that, I tried to go back to sleep, but I just kept looking up at my CCTV to check if they're out there. And in the end, I realised I'm not going to sleep too good. So I had to get back up. I had to drive to the next services along, which is where we currently are. I parked this time closer to the building and under some light. And I got about half a night's sleep. Now, all of the footage of this is on my CCTV system. I've got 4 cameras that are recording at all times. But to get it off of that CCTV system, I've got to put it onto a memory stick, then onto my laptop, then convert the files to MP4 so I can put it in the editing software, and then we will watch it together. Why is there an alarm set for now? Anyway, we'll get to all that later. Right now, I just want to get the hell out of here. I want to get to Prague. I want to park up at a nice campsite in a safe, secure location, and then, well, depending on the weather, go exploring. But I'm going to eat my porridge, drink my coffee, hit the road, and we will catch up with this situation shortly.
Ad spent the next hour compulsively checking the live feed of his CCTV. Knowing he would never find peace there, he made the executive decision to flee. Later, having safely arrived in Prague, Ads reviewed the cold, hard evidence from his cameras. The footage revealed a calculated approach that chilled him to the bone. They weren't opportunistic smash and grab thieves. They first moved to the driver's window, clearly peering in to check for any sign of occupants. The distraction. They then lingered at the back, talking and smoking, likely to appear innocuous to any passing lorry drivers. The attack. Finally, they moved to the passenger side, where one thief bent down, attempting to conceal his hands as he pulled at the handle.
Okay, so this is obviously when I heard their voices. I know they're going straight up to... Alright, they're going straight up to my driver's window and they're looking in it. I swear I heard them right behind the van though. So he's staring right in the driver's window, trying to see what he can see. I think he touched something there, did he? Okay, this is the point. So now they've gone round the back of the van. Now remember, at this stage, I'm still fast asleep, right? So let's pull up the back of the van. So enter the thieves. Around the rear of the van, they take a quick look at the back. One of them's smoking something. Maybe he's innocent. Maybe they were just smoking. I heard them. That's where I heard them talking. And I was sort of in a daze. And I was like, what is going on? They've gone back round to the other side of the van now. So let's pull that camera back up. Actually, no, it definitely wasn't innocent. Because I remember I heard them actually touch the handle. Oh yeah, look, there we go. Right, he's bent down there. What's he doing? Yeah, he's trying to do something there. And that was where I shouted pigeon. Look at that. Right, let's just rewind that again. Right, so he's keeping an eye on that lorry that's leaving. And he's bent down doing something by my van. He must be trying to hide the fact that his hand's like touching the handle. But this is the point where I heard the handle go. And I'm half asleep and I shout pigeon. And I rush up and I open up this curtain here. And then you can see as soon as I do that, he says something to his mate. And they scarper off. So if we go back to the front camera, we should... Yeah, there we go. So that's them. As soon as they know that I'm in the van, they're now just disappearing off into the night, as though nothing's happened. And
This meticulous, coordinated effort suggested a far darker intent. Ads realized the thieves weren't looking to steal his possessions. They were looking to steal his entire home. They didn't want to try the back of the van, which suggests to me that they weren't looking to rob what was inside the van. They were looking to nick the entire thing. Ads was shaken, but ultimately grateful. The dirty criminals failed, foiled by a man, a curtain, and his own sophisticated security system. The experience was terrifying, but it was also a stark reminder. The open road comes with a price. Have you ever had a close call while camping or traveling alone? Share your story below. Before we go any further, I just want to ask you for a small favor. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. We recently hit 100,000 subscribers, and that's all thanks to you. Our 100K special surprise was revealed, and we had many positive responses from you. Our next goal is to hit 200K before the year ends. It feels impossible, but hey, it's free to dream, right? Also, there's a hidden word somewhere in this video for you. Let's see if you can find it. Now, back to the video. The engine of a Jeep isn't just a motor, it's the heartbeat of a dream. For Victoria Rose, that dream is known as solo female van life, a profound commitment to breaking free from the conventional. Her channel is an intimate look at choosing the unpaved road, where simplicity and self-reliance rule. Her trusty converted Jeep, the Jurassic Jeep, is a mobile home built to tackle anything from budget meal preps, using discount finds, to overcoming personal fears, like the intimidating prospect of driving internationally. Victoria's journey is one of empowerment and resourcefulness, but as any veteran traveler knows, the wilderness holds unexpected lessons. On August 13, 2023, the New York woods were initially everything Victoria hoped for: serene, quiet, and a successful experiment in finding free remote camping.
So we've made it. I wasn't sure. I haven't, like I said, I've never tried to find free camping around these parts, and it is a little different than it is in the West. In the West, there's so much land where you can find very remote places. Like there's like park rangers and stuff everywhere, and it's just smaller areas, so I feel like a little bit less free, but it's camping. The bugs! I forgot about that. I already got bit by one, and I usually don't. Fortunately, I think I have some bug spray, so let's check. This is a really nice area, but it's Chautauqua National Forest in New York. Oh. Why do they always get you on the ankle? Okay, so I got this, I think in Nevada at a natural food store, and it's lemon eucalyptus oil insect repellent. I don't know if it'll work, but we are going to put it on our ankles and everywhere. Also, they have porta potties here, so this is like luxury for me.
As the sun vanished, the national forest settled into its dark, deep silence, and Victoria drifted off to sleep. It was about 1:20 a.m., and the silence was obliterated by the approach of a massive, roaring pickup truck, whose powerful headlights brutally invaded Victoria's privacy. The truck didn't just pass by. It pulled right up to her spot. A family, parents and children, began unloading gear, immediately and completely blocking her Jeep in. For Victoria, this was more than an inconvenience. It was an act of aggression. She stepped out into the night, her voice edged with disbelief, and confronted the family.
What the f? You guys gonna kick me out of this spot? Huh? Are you guys gonna move your truck so I can at least leave? Are you gonna move your truck so I can leave? Huh? Well, it's kind of weird that I was well, I am. Well, now I have to like leave because there's no way I can sleep like this. Can you at least ask, like, or say excuse me or something? Like, I was camped here.
I understand. We told you we didn't know there was anybody in there.
Right, but can you like say like yeah, but it's just common courtesy to say sorry. I didn't realize. Is it okay if we camp here? But it's like this is the spot that I got. It's just strange. It's rude. I don't really know where to go or what to do.
This was a calculated, deliberate act of boundary violation. The presence of children complicated the situation, but did not lessen the shocking display of disrespect toward a solo female camper, trapped and facing an actively hostile environment. Victoria realized she could not safely remain. The choice was impossible: confront a rude and determined group at 3:00 a.m., or face the danger of driving while exhausted. Victoria chose to leave. I didn't want to make a big deal because there was kids. It's so rude. She abandoned her perfect, meticulously prepared campsite, acknowledging that the difference in camping culture in the West versus the East is so much different.
It's like 2 in the morning. This is so strange. I've never had this happen out in the West. Off-road lights. Up. Oh, I'm so tired. Well, there's gonna be some lines, but I hate driving at night, especially when I'm this tired, because it's like nearly 3 in the morning. It was a weird situation. I didn't know what to do. Like, what do you do? Infiltrating. It's so loud too. So I just had to drive to a rest stop. I didn't want to make a big deal because there was kids. It's so rude. Like, they're so rude, and they're just like not looking at me, acting like I wasn't even there, and I was standing there, like, hey, can you at least say excuse me, or can you say sorry, or can you at least ask me for the campsite, even though like that's rude in itself. Like, it's 2 in the morning. The camping culture in the West versus the East is so much different.
This encounter was a harsh reminder that when you're out on the unpaved road, not all threats come from the wilderness. Sometimes the danger is a simple, staggering lack of respect. Though the encounter was strange and a mess, Victoria wouldn't let it deter her. She took it as a signal, a call to action. Sometimes it's good for weird things happen because it's like, okay, it's time to move on to the next adventure. The road trip continues, but the lesson learned this night would not be forgotten. In the wild, always prepare for the unexpected, especially when it involves other people. What do you think was the reason behind this extreme lack of courtesy? The philosophy of Man Dog Wild is simple: push the limits, embrace the extreme, and survive with minimal gear. The channel is dedicated to authentic, challenging bushcraft and solo survival expeditions, often in unforgiving environments. The host, known simply as the Adventurer, believes in confronting the wilderness head-on. No tents, no backup, and usually no reception. His journeys are characterized by extreme conditions, relying solely on skill, resourcefulness, and a deep understanding of the natural world. For this particular challenge, the adventurer chose a remote desert cave, miles from the nearest village, to spend 24 hours alone. The journey to the cave was an ordeal in itself. The heat was a crushing physical enemy. The thermometer was pushing a brutal 42 degrees Celsius, with a red alert issued for forest fires.
You know, when you're pumping so much, your head is like just pounding. Oh. Yeah. Whew. I thought I was going to drop. Head was gosh. It was like every breath. It was like woo, woo, woo. Going quick. Chest going boom, 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 boom. Whew, what a way to start this video. I assume it's something to do with it being about 42 degrees Celsius today. With a red alert from the Department of Forests for forest fires.
He managed to reach the stone wall where the cave was hidden, a difficult access point requiring a careful, hands-on climb. This isolation was the price of survival. The moment the adventurer entered the cave, he knew he wasn't alone. The cave was already occupied by creatures seeking the same respite from the sun: snakes. He immediately warned the viewer to watch for snakes, noting they would be coming in during the day to stay out of the sun. Mountain goats, tracks, and copious droppings in the sand confirmed a mountain goat had been up in the cave. Despite the creepy company, the internal cave temperature was a profound relief. A lot cooler in here than it is out there.
Just down the corner here, actually, is some quite nice access. So let's see what it's all about. And one of the things, obviously, we want to watch for is snakes, because the old snakes will most probably be coming in here during the day to stay out of the sun. But what I've noticed is something else, another animal. You can see the droppings there. You can actually see the tracks in the sand. Let's try and get down here. Make sure it's not in there now, huh? We don't want it to be in there now. There's quite a lot of sign. Yeah, you can see a mountain goat has been up in here. Probably with the same idea as me, getting out of the sun. We obviously do want to be careful here, because the rock's not fantastic, especially this side. Big old crack going down there. Oh, let's get this pack off.
As the adventurer settled in, laying out his Dutch Army's self-inflating sleeping pad, 1434, he was distracted by a small movement near his sleeping area. He spotted tiny eggs, and later, a flurry of bugs, but the true threat was soon revealed on the wall. Are they scorpions? The terrifying reality was confirmed. Several small, dark scorpions were visible, right on the wall near his head. While he didn't know their species or danger level, 1805, the presence of these venomous arachnids was enough to force a critical decision.
Oh, nice. Are they scorpions? Bloody. It's got like a tail. You see that? Creepy. So that's good. I don't know what they are. Or if they bite. Or what's going on. The sun's gone down now, so I've just moved out of the way of the cave there. And the reason being is because if there is any snakes in there, now's the time they're waking up and they're going out to feed. And yeah, I don't want to be on our menu. So just giving them a bit of a wide berth. If there is any snakes in there, just getting out of the way.
The night was spent in a tense, partially exposed vigil. The greatest fear was no longer the heat, but the creatures the heat had driven out. The fear, his biggest fear, became the snakes that still might be in the cave, or wanting to get out when he was bedded down. He knew the snakes don't know that he wouldn't mess with them. The preparation, he carefully packed away all gear to prevent pests from getting inside, and made a mental note of the critical morning routine. Smack them together upside down to check his boots for anything that might have crawled in. Adding to the roster of creepy guests, a bat was seen flying around the cave entrance.
Okay, so my biggest fear tonight in this cave isn't like a cave-in or anything, or, and now that I've said that, I'm going to be thinking about it. My biggest fear is actually the snakes that still might be in here, and they might be wanting to get out when I'm bed down or when I'm sat here, and which is fine. They can just slither straight past me. It's no problem. I'm not going to mess with them. But the trouble is, the snakes don't know that. And of course, in the morning, when we have our boots here, what we want to do is we want to smack them together upside down, make sure anything, make sure nothing's gone inside of them before we put our little toes in there. It was a bat. There's a bat. Yeah. Good.
Despite the exhaustion from the 40+ degree hike, sleep was elusive. The adventurer admitted he didn't have the best rest. Haunted by the very real possibility of the roof caving in, the fear of snakes, and the absurd thought of mountain goats trying to spoon me, he survived the 24 hours. But the encounter was a sharp reminder that sometimes the only company you have in the wild is the kind you'd rather avoid. What did you make of this encounter? Let me know. The Toby Explores channel is a testament to the freedom found in simplicity. The host, Toby, documents his nomadic life, embracing a philosophy born from letting go of the need for everything. For Toby, exploration isn't about reaching the Arctic. It's about the simple everyday act of seeing the world for the first time and finding joy in the small things. On August 26, 2025, after hours of walking and searching, Toby finally decided on a large, open field where he'd seen 2 containers earlier. It was late and exposed, but he was tired and needed shelter. He quickly pitched his tent, home sweet home for the night, but kept his torch off to remain discreet, acknowledging the inherent tension of wild camping.
Well, it's 11:30 at night, and I am on that big field that we saw earlier on today with the 2 containers. There is home sweet home. I am walking around, guys. I don't know if you can see that, but I am walking around to see if you can see the tent. That's zoomed out, that's zoomed in a bit more. No, you're not going to see it. I really wish I could get you these night shots of the tent, but I know you guys understand that I can't shine a torch on it and stuff. It just, you know. Oh, look, a car just went past. How about that? It's so cool. It's like being in the studio. Right, anyway, I'm going to get inside. There's another car coming, so hold up. There it is. And the sea is just, if you're looking at that, to the right of hand side of the screen. So anyway, guys, night. Oh, look, we got a couple of cars coming over. Oh, okay. I might get asked to move on here. Let's keep the camera rolling.
The peace lasted mere minutes. As Toby was settling in, the first car appeared. The car approached, paused, then turned off its lights. Did they see him, or were they just pulling over? Suddenly, more vehicles began to arrive. Toby realized this exposed spot might be a local nighttime hangout. I don't know if there's some kind of thing that goes on here at night. Then, the first vehicle started to circle the field slowly. This was a clear sign that the occupants had spotted his tent. Toby stood up out of his tent to make his presence known, trying to avoid any lunatic driving into his camp.
See, this is what's interesting. It's kind of just so real life. This is why I won't put a torch on, guys. They might not have even seen me. They might do now though, because they've just turned all their own lights off, so I might stand out a little bit. So I'm going to go. I'm going to get in the tent. Should anything exciting happen, then obviously I'll try and share that with you. But, right, I'm not going to unpack all my stuff because there is a lot of cars coming over. I don't know if there's some kind of thing that goes on here at night. They seem to be ignoring me, but I have no idea. Yep, here we go, look. I don't know who that is. I'm gonna get out just in case, so I don't want to get some lunatic driving into the car, so I'll let them know. I stand up so they know I'm here. It might just be people that are curious. Wow. Weren't expecting none of this.
Just when the first wave seemed to depart, the situation escalated. A car parked right in the middle of the field. A motorbike pulled up right outside the tent and revved its engine loudly. Finally, another car drove up and began to do lots of wheel spins, just 50 meters from the tent. The occupants got out, stood around talking, then got back in the car. This final incident was the most unnerving. The lights of the vehicle had fully illuminated his tent, and when the occupants stepped out, Toby was genuinely worried they were coming over.
So there's a few people there just pulled over. They were making a load of noise. I'm bringing the camera away from there. I'm not trying to dramatise this at all, guys. I think you know that about me. But this car just started to like lots of wheel spins outside the tent and that. They're about 50 metres away from me. They've got outside the car and they're just standing there just talking. And now they're back in the car. And it looks like they're going to go. And they're going. Wow. Beautiful though.
To be survived the turbulent night. In the morning, he reflected that this exposed spot was a risk he took to avoid walking for another 2 hours. He realized the visitors were likely youngsters just out having fun on a Saturday night, but the experience hammered home the reality. He is just a guy in a tent who can't see out. The greatest irony was his discovery at dawn. His assumption of a secluded spot was wrong, and it almost cost him a night's sleep. He packed up, leaving no trace, and concluded that while the beautiful sunrise made up for the scare, he wouldn't be wild camping in that kind of exposed, accessible spot again soon. Black Crag is a channel of majestic beauty in the Lake District Fells. It is a testament to resilience and exploration, documenting solo wild camping expeditions across some of the most challenging peaks in the UK. He approaches the outdoors with the grounded pragmatism of a seasoned adventurer, often accompanied by his loyal, playful companion. But on this particular journey, Black Crag was searching for more than just a spectacular view. He had chosen South Fell on Midsummer's Eve, a location steeped in local lore, famous for the legendary Ghost Army. It is said that in centuries past, respected men witnessed a colossal, spectral army marching across this very ridge.
It's Midsummer's Eve. The year is 1735, and a local man spies what he believes to be a gigantic army marching across the ridge of a nearby hill. This procession goes on most of the night, and the following morning he goes up to the hill and finds absolutely no trace of an army whatsoever. No footprints, no hoofprints. 2 years later, on Midsummer's Eve, several other people see exactly the same thing, a gigantic army marching across the ridge. They then proceed to tell other locals about what they saw that night, and nobody believes them. Fast forward 10 years to 1745, and 26 people witness an enormous army marching across the ridge of this same hill. And again, this went on all night, and the ranks were 5 men deep. And these 26 people that witnessed this army marching along the ridge of Sutterfell were deemed sober and respected. Today is Midsummer's Eve, and this is Sutterfell. It's also our room for the night.
The midsummer night drew in slowly, offering only a narrow window of true darkness. Black Crag patrolled the ridge, beer in hand, half-jokingly addressing the camera about the punctual arrival of his spectral guests. The hill felt benign, devoid of any spooky atmosphere. After switching his camera to night vision and confirming no ghostly activity, he made the decision to return to his tent and settle down for the night. It was in this moment, as he approached the final stretch of his walk, that the conversation stopped cold. He looked up, and his blood ran cold. A clear, blocky silhouette was standing motionless, right beside his exposed shelter.
I think I'm going to head back to the tent now and settle down, get a little bit of kip, hopefully not get woken up in the night. I think it's going to be a very early start in the morning because it's going to get very light soon. Oh, not long at all. What the Oh, what the hell? There's a bloke stood next to my tent. What the That has absolutely scared the out of me. I'm not kidding you. I was walking down there, coming back towards the tent, talking to you guys. I'm telling you right now, there was somebody stood right here. Oh, I'm not kidding you, the hairs on my arms are stood up. My skin is crawling. Right there. Fins is oblivious to me. Right, there's no way I'm staying here tonight. No way. I can't stay here. I'm gonna have to pack a tent up and go in the dark.
The veteran camper's first instinct was flight. Man, there's no way I'm staying here tonight. I'm enough to pack the tent up and go. He frantically scanned the dense, tall grass around the tent, searching for the slightest evidence of the person hiding or moving away. But the figure had vanished, completely and silently. This silent disappearance was perhaps the most unsettling detail. Had it been a prankster, Black Crag reasoned, he would have heard them retreat. The possibility remained that the figure was either an illusion born of fear, or something far worse, someone still out there, stalking.
I mean, I've kind of looked in this grass here to see if someone was about, you know, like doing a prank or something. But there's no one in here, and I would have heard them move off. I don't know what to do. This is terrifying. I don't want to go near the tent. It's just a little bit lighter over here for some reason. What to do? I mean, it could just be some around here, you know, just winding me up, knowing that there's someone up here. I mean, I did get spotted by several people coming up, so it could be someone trying to prank me, but I would have heard them. I would have seen them move off, and I would have heard them move off. Unless they're in the flipping tent. Unless actually I saw them in front of the tent and they've climbed in. I would have heard the zip. I would have heard that go. So, sorry, my head's gone now. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to have a think. Just look around and stuff. Right. Let's get in the tent. I just want to make sure there's nobody in here. There's no one in here, which I don't know if that makes me feel any better.
After a quick, terrified check confirmed no one was inside his shelter, Black Crag reluctantly zipped himself in. Sleep became impossible. He spent the remainder of the night in a paralyzing state of high alert, listening to every minute sound, convinced that the shadow would reappear. It was a long, anxious vigil, a night ruined, not by the legends of the dead, but by the unnerving reality of the living. The morning arrived, bringing relief with the Skylark Dawn chorus, and the bright, comforting sunlight. Yet, even as he packed up his gear, the event weighed heavily on him.
Yeah, weird night. That little episode last night as I was approaching the tent completely freaked me out. And I just lay there for quite a while. So I just listened to that. I'll talk about those in a minute. So yeah, I just laid there for a while, just, you know, thinking what would I do if someone was there and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, eventually did get off to sleep. The sleep didn't last long because around about 2:40, I heard one of these guys go, one of the Skylarks, up there somewhere. In fact, it was right above the tent, just one of them. And then about 20 seconds later, about 200 of them started up for the Skylark Dawn chorus. What just a beautiful sound. And it's been going non-stop ever since. So, let's have a look. It is 4:39. It's an ungodly hour, but, you know, why would I want to miss this? This is definitely the best time of the day.
Black Crag was forced to descend the hill, disappointed by the lack of spectral activity, but deeply shaken by the human encounter. He came to Soutfell seeking the ghost of an army, but found instead the chilling, vanishing shadow of a single person. What did you make of this encounter? The forest is not merely a setting for the man behind creepy outdoors. It is a canvas upon which he tests his mettle. His channel is dedicated to documenting solo survival and camping deep in the most remote corners of the wilderness, often focusing less on the logistics and more on the psychological warfare of extreme isolation. His viewers frequently pose the same question: how does he maintain his composure when facing the unknown? His philosophy is a mantra: one must shut down the imagination and ground oneself in reality. Always assume the best-case scenario to prevent the panic that leads to foolish, life-threatening mistakes. On this particular trip, he was deep within the unforgiving Canadian woods, where a snapped branch is never just a snapped branch. After battling the mud and choosing a camp spot, he began his preparations, though he arrived alone. As the light failed, a potent, unnerving sense of intrusion would emerge, threatening to unravel the very composure he preached. After locating a defensible patch of ground, the camper set about his most urgent task, securing a fire. It was then that the profound silence of the woods was violently broken. He heard a distinct sound, something cracking in the woods. In this terrain, a cracking branch means a heavy presence, a large deer, a bear, or perhaps something even more unsettling. It is a sound that must never be taken lightly.
Just gotta make a fire. I feel a lot better when I got a fire going. What the hell is that? This is a decent spot. I'm gonna go gather some wood. I'm gonna make a little fire, have a nice beer. I heard something cracking in the woods. Now, if you live in Canada, when you hear something cracking, a branch cracking, it doesn't usually mean a small animal. It's usually a deer, a bear, anything of that sort. So it should never be taken lightly when you hear a branch breaking. All right, I'm gonna gather some wood. I'll see you guys then.
Despite the mounting anxiety, the host did what he must. He focused on survival. Utilizing the essential birch bark, he brought a fire to life, erecting a small barrier of warmth and light against the encroaching dark. But the uneasy quiet did not last. What was that? He performed a slow, deliberate 360-degree scan of the perimeter. Nothing. The fire crackled, but the ambiguous noises continued to emanate from the trees. As he scrambled to feed the fire, hoping its size would deter any curious bear, the sounds intensified, becoming more demanding and closer.
What? Hello? What the fuck is going on? Crap. Hello? I better get some more branches. I don't like what I'm hearing. The bigger my fire, if there's a deer or something or a bear around, the fire should scare it. If I keep hearing those noises, I don't know how long I'll stay. If you're not used to the force, like I said earlier in the video, when you hear a branch cracking in the woods, it means it's something heavy.
The woods seemed to mock his attempts at security. He clung to his philosophy, trying to convince himself it was merely a curious deer, but the possibility of a malicious human presence was now a chilling reality. The very air felt thick with intrusion. In the midst of his fear, the host consciously reeled himself back in. He explained the necessity of mental discipline. The moment you let the worst-case scenario imagination take over is the moment you become careless and vulnerable.
You know, a lot of people ask me in the comments, how can I manage to stay calm while you're out in the woods? And I spoke about it a bit without going too much in details, but it's really important to shut down the imagination. You have to focus on what's in front of you. You know, earlier we heard some branches cracking. You always got to think the best case scenario. Sure, worst case will make you prepare. But when you always think the worst case scenario, that's when you start freaking out. You start acting stupid. You're not yourself when you're scared and acting stupid. You're gonna have to get some more wood for that.
After what felt like an eternity, the noises finally ceased. The sound was gone, as if swallowed by the vast, wet silence of the forest. With the immediate pressure released, the camper allowed himself a small, hard-won moment of relief. A successful test of his method. He had faced the unknown, not by fighting a physical threat, but by maintaining absolute control over his mind. What did you make of this encounter? Let me know.